my name is Icon, and here comes part 4 of our Minotaur monk. Game is getting into a more critical phase now. We've cleared so far the dungeon, the lair, the orcish mines. We're down to dungeon 15, which means we could now enter the depths, which I avoided because I don't feel ready for the depths now. And before we start with this optional branch, which contains a rune of Zod, we got to check out our resistances, because you kind of like don't want to enter the swamps without resist poison, because there are a lot of poisonous baddies here, and the swamp drakes also breathe out mephitic clouds, which can confuse you if you're not poison resistant, which is really dangerous and annoying down here. We're also resistant to fire. We have a spare option of protection from cold. We have a spare option for resistance from electricity, although I don't think we're gonna need this down here. So we're gonna start exploring now. We are properly equipped for this dungeon branch. We're also a Minotaur. So there's an unknown scroll. That was a scroll of silence. Okay, I hope I'm gonna find another one at some point, because they're really useful against certain monsters which feature too heavy spellcasting to let them just do their way. So I'm manually exploring this floor because, well, I want to win this game, so auto-exploring is always a bit more dangerous than manually exploring, in my opinion. But if something's easy, you can afford to auto-explore. But we are the first time down here. There goes a Hydra and an alligator and a shambling mangrove. So this is kind of a situation here, but the mangrove didn't notice me yet. So maybe we're lucky and he stays out of this fight. But I'm gonna prepare my divine shield. Okay, looks like the mangrove went his way. Mangroves are pretty obnoxious enemies which slow down your movement, pack in quite a punch, and are able to summon more enemies while you're fighting them. There he goes. We're gonna start behind this corner, let him come, and start smacking him. And there are the summons I've talked about, and the special thing about those mangroves is that their summons don't disappear when they die. You always gotta take care of the hornets afterwards. And, well, we were pretty good equipped for this situation here, and we had no difficulties at all managing to kill the hornets and the mangrove at all. But, well, that's the reason why Minotaurs are one of the easiest races to finish the game with. I'm counting on a cheap win here to begin my streak, I admit that. But it's also my first video guide on a crawl character, and I thought, like, well, let's play something easy so we can focus on the recording and learn all things here. There's the next mangrove. Gonna examine him for a moment. That's 41 damage. Okay, so we're gonna pull this fight again behind this corner, because if I would have fought him like here, I would have been close to this unexplored terrain here, and I don't know if there are more enemies there or not, and, well, I want to keep this situation under control. Because if there were 2 more Hydras swarming in or something ugly like that, well, I'm not invulnerable only because I'm a Minotaur. And I've actually killed a lot of Minotaurs in my past games just by feeling too confident and not taking the game seriously enough anymore. And, well, at some point the transitioning into the late game happens, and then you can die pretty quickly if you're not cautious, which happens to me from time to time when I play Minotaurs. But we're not fooling around here. We're taking this game slowly. Okay, so we have 4 enemies we actually don't want to get surrounded with, and we have not really good options here to cut off their pathings. So I actually don't like this kind of fight. The Hydra will move more quickly while it's in water, so if I take this step up here, it's probably already gonna smack me. What I'm gonna do now, let's pop a scroll of fear for now, so we can see part of the enemies retreated from this combat, and that's all I needed. I only needed a few turns, pardon me, to finish off these. At least one of those. The Hydra was a perfect start, and now I can clear this up without any negative consequences for myself. And there is a dragon, a swamp dragon. They're kind of like the weakest dragons in game. I feel like they are. They only have a poisonous attack, and it gets really easy if you have poison resistance. And if you're lacking poison resistance, these swamp dragon scales will provide you exactly this. So sometimes if you don't manage to find any poison resistance at all, and you have to enter some branch, it's sometimes a good idea to clear this until you meet the first swamp dragon and hope you get some scales from him. But you gotta be very careful around these swamp drakes when you're not poison resistant, because while you're confused you can also stumble into this deep water, and in former versions this was instant death as far as I remember. It didn't happen to me, so I don't know it. And for now it's a huge debuff when you're in deep water. I think you start dying there. Well, I never tried it. Will happen to me someday. I'm pretty sure it will. Everything happens to you sooner or later. There's no such thing as a occurrence that didn't happen to you if you play this game long enough. Okay, but it looks like Swamp 1 is no big deal for us. I think we always gotta be careful with situations when we get surrounded. This could always be potentially a pretty dangerous situation. But so far, if we can take them one by one, this swamp is already kinda like cleared. It depends on the uniques we meet down here and which ending we get, how hard our rune gathering here on the swamp will be. So Hydra and frogs and slime creatures. Yeah, this is getting definitely more tense by now. I mean, I think it's an okay fight to take. I hope I kill this Hydra before the slime creatures reach me. Yep, that worked. Slime creatures are, well, in this phase they get dangerous because it's 66 damage, it's 180 HP. They basically just combine their stats if they do this. Up to 5 of them can merge, and if it's 5, well, you gotta run, because they will split up again if they chase you long enough. So I've got portions of flight. I gotta remember that. It's especially for the swamps a very nice thing to have if you got to flee in a hurry. And water will slow you down while you cross it, but not if you're flying. Then you're just flying over it, obviously. Water also is bad for your fighting if you're too small. Some giant races can ignore that. And here comes a player ghost. It's a deep dwarf gladiator with an insane amount of armor class. Good portion of magic resistance. Some max HP. Yep, I think I'm able to beat this. But I'm gonna take a short break from this recording. I'm gonna be right back with the next part because something at the door rang. I'm gonna be reacting to that. See you soon, guys.